Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. This is the second episode that I have for you here on Tuesday morning, the 17th day of January 2017. There are 4 articles in this episode, and the URLs are in this video, so you can pull them up and take a look at them, get any information that you need. This first one here is off of libertyheadlines.com. Actually, I have 2 articles on the same subject. This one is entitled Representative John Lewis Constituent Feels More Connection to Trump. Says the media narrative on American politics has become so tedious, you don't have to listen anymore. Follow a formula, and never more so than on the Martin Luther King holiday. Every headline proclaims how Black Americans at Trump's insensitivity to historical plight of blacks in the civil rights movement. After all, he attacked Representative John Lewis, which apparently violates some canon of the civil religion, or the civic religion. I had no interest in engaging in this debate, but I did call a Lyft car this morning, and my driver, a black woman raised in poverty, was very interested in doing so. The news was on and blaring how Trump was attacking the CIA, which made me laugh, and I said, I'm no Trump supporter, but that's funny. Back, what do you not like about Trump? I said a few things about his trade policies, but she was having none of it. Here it is, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I'm supposed to be all upset that Trump attacked John Lewis, but Trump is right. Lewis said he is not a legitimate president, so yeah, Trump got upset. What exactly is Lewis doing to improve the lives of poor in this town? Nothing. At least Trump has some ideas. He seems to care. I'm glad Lewis marched in the protest long ago, she continued, but you have to do more than march. That's all these people do is march. Meanwhile, there are sections of Atlanta I'm afraid to drive in, and I say that as a black woman race, many blacks in this town live better than white people anywhere in the world. But there's whole communities that they're paid off with welfare checks, but they don't have skills or jobs, and they fear for their lives on their own streets. Getting going. So I wondered how far I could push this. What about Obamacare? Explosion. Don't get me started. My premiums are through the roof. I can't afford it because I drive all day and not making money. I'm not poor enough to get any subsidies. So this year I'm going to have to pay $750 on my tax return because I can't afford to buy insurance. But I can't afford the health care either. And have you seen those deductibles? If anything should happen to you, you go bankrupt. I'll tell you who benefited from Obamacare, not the poor. It's the insurance companies and the government. I pointed out that Hillary Clinton said she would try to improve it. You kidding? The whole campaign, she defended all this. She is just like the rest of all these people. You all talk and no action, just like Trump said. She's been pushing a pen for 30 years. She's not affected by high premiums. Her health care is covered. She has no idea what the rest of us are going through. But I said, Trump is rich and well covered too. Yeah, but he starts businesses and has to pay workers. He knows how to create jobs. People say he went bankrupt sometimes. If you're hardworking and trying to try new things, bankruptcy is just part of business. You win and you lose, but at least he knows how to learn and respond. Don't do anything but give speeches and defend the way things are. I asked about Obama and his speech warning about destabilizing important traditions in government. See, this is exactly the problem. Traditions in government. We need to get rid of those and have something new. Trump's the man to do it. I'm not saying he's right on everything, but someone has to do something. Same for too long around here. In my own life, I've had to try something new every few years. I'm taking classes in IT to try something new. Government needs to do that too. I was feeling pretty persuaded by what she's saying here, so I pushed a bit further. But don't you worry about this thing about foreign trade. I mean, you and I are going to be paying a tax for imports from places he doesn't like. You see, Trump thinks just like a good mother. Any mom knows that most important thing is to keep things right at home. When the home is right, everything else is right. America is home. He says you can do all the business you want in these 50 states, but if you're going to go wandering around the world, you're going to have to pay a price. At this point, I winced. Uh, there it is, nationalism in a nutshell, and the reason why protectionism is so popular. It makes some intuitive sense until you look at the details. It turns out that absolutely everything is made globally now. You can't impose a home alone attitude and expect to have a modern economy. Is the political. So I changed the subject again. What about Trump's personal issues? He seems to have some odd opinions on women and minorities and so on. Everyone I know has odd opinions on things. Stuff that's crazy and maybe dangerous. I have some weird views too, but so long as these views don't affect the country as a whole, it's cool. I don't really care. Plus, I'm a black woman and I'm working hard driving people all over this city. You think if he met me, he wouldn't like me? I think he'd like me. I feel more connection to him on his views than I do to Obama and people like John Lewis. We arrived at the airport and I wished her the best. She apologized for using our ride for a ranch. She said I said that's perfectly fine. I learned a few things and we smiled and wished each other the best. I only wished that a reporter with the New York Times had been there, not that it would have been reported. The prevailing narrative is much safer. When I have for you is off of BizPack Review, and this says black pastor who marched with John Lewis says this time he's on the wrong side of history. A prominent black clergyman who once marched with civil rights icon Representative John Lewis said he and other black lawmakers who President-elect Trump's election are on the wrong side of history. And there's video in this if you care to take a look at it. Reverend William Owens, the founder and president of the Coalition of African American Pastors, appeared on Fox Report Weekend and said, "Mr. Trump is our president." Of black lawmakers to attend the inauguration. I think what they are looking at is a way to find out why Hillary Clinton was not elected, he told Fox News anchor Harris Faulkner. Because of what the Russians did, she was not elected because of what she said, referring to her statement that the United States must change its religious beliefs. Owens also reiterated an announcement that he made the day before the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. "We should respect the law," he said. "Give Mr. Trump a chance." Owens said that although he has not had the chance to sit down with Congressman Lewis, welcome it. "There's too much at stake for us to pimp the black community," he said. "I want to have a dialogue with Mr. Lewis, with Mr. Al Sharpton, and with other black leaders. I'll show you my facts, you show me yours." The next article I have for you is off of BizPack Review, and it says, Trump's European vision. NATO is obsolete, slams Merkel's immigration, and hails the Brexit. President-elect Donald Trump said NATO members need to pay their fair share, called German Chancellor Angela Merkel's open borders a catastrophic mistake, as a success in an interview with the Sunday Times and German tabloid Bild. U.S. allies have been worried about the future of NATO since Trump's election victory in November. Trump called the alliance obsolete during his campaign, which he explained has to do with failure to combat terrorism. Trump later signaled intent to maintain the relationship with NATO in a meeting with Obama. "Heat when I said NATO was obsolete," Trump said. "It's obsolete because it wasn't taking care of terror. I took a lot of heat for 2 days, and then they started saying Trump is right." Trump explained that NATO is important to him, but he urged members to increase their defense spending. "A lot of these countries aren't paying what they're supposed to be paying, which I think is very unfair to the United States," Trump said. "With that being said, NATO is very important to me." Said Merkel was by far the most important European leader, but called her decision to open the door to 1 million migrants in 2015 a catastrophic mistake. A very catastrophic mistake, and that was taking all these illegals, Trump said, and nobody even knows where they come from. So I think she made a catastrophic mistake, very bad mistake. A positive thing about the state of Europe, according to Trump, is the United Kingdom from the European Union. I sort of, as you know, predicted it, Trump said. It was in Turnberry, of course, and was doing a ribbon cutting because I bought Turnberry, which is doing unbelievably. And I'll tell you, the fact that your pound sterling has gone down, great, because business is unbelievable in a lot of parts of the UK, as you know. I think Brexit is going to end up being a great thing. I previously warned Britons that new trade agreement with the U.S. would take years to accomplish. Trump is of a different opinion, as he aims to get it done very quickly. The article in this episode is off BizPac Review, and it says Trump snaps back at outgoing CIA's Brennan was a leaker of fake news. President-elect Donald Trump ratcheted up his war with the intelligence community Sunday by asking if CIA Director John Brennan himself was responsible for leaking a dossier of unverified information to the press about Trump's alleged escapades in Russia. He appeared on Fox News Sunday to call Trump's comparison of the intelligence community to Nazi Germany outrageous. Trump fired a series of tweets in which he questioned whether Brennan was personally behind BuzzFeed's recent publication of a 35-page dossier of totally unverified information on Trump. And Trump tweeted, outgoing CIA Chief John Brennan blast on Russia's threat does not fully understand. Oh, really? Couldn't do much worse. Just look at Syria, red line, Crimea, Ukraine, and buildup of Russian nukes. Not good. This was the leader, or was this the leaker of fake news? What I do find outrageous is equating intelligence community with Nazi Germany, Brennan said earlier this Sunday. I do take great umbrage. There is no basis for Mr. Trump to point fingers at the intelligence community for leaking information that was already available publicly. Brennan said during that same interview that there is no interest in undermining the president-elect. They're convinced, despite statements from Brennan and also from Director of National Intelligence James Clapper earlier this week, that the intelligence community had nothing to do with the leak of the dossier published last Tuesday. BuzzFeed has since been widely castigated for publishing the completely unverified dossier full of bizarre information about Trump's alleged scandalous activities in Russia. You have the second episode this morning. If you like what I'm doing, give it a thumbs up. Media so everybody gets to hear the news. Don't forget to subscribe. Click that little bell beside the subscription button and check that box. That way you'll get an email alert every time I put up a show and you'll stay informed. We'll see you in the next episode.